Hello everyone and welcome back to What the Folk for the month of October, and in honour of Halloween night, which is, as you obviously know, the end of October, we're going to be tackling a more spirit-based theme this month. We're going to be talking about ghosts, and to start off the month I'm going to be talking about Ippikin, a character who's quite well known in Shropshire folklore, but whom I didn't actually realise until I was looking into it that he was a ghost. I knew that he was some kind of malevolent force that lived on Wenlock Edge, and you want to avoid saying his name thrice on foggy nights and periods of bad weather when you're up on Wenlock Edge, lest he push you off the cliff. Much kind of like the Gwyllion, I guess. Lots of spirits who are looking to do harm when footing is poor on mountainsides, on hillsides. So I knew that much, that you want to avoid angering Ippikin, but I never knew that he was a ghost. He was, in fact, a 13th century knight. And not like the knights that we've just been talking about, the ones of Arthur's court. No, Ippikin was essentially leader of a bandit group. He led his band of brigands and rogues, and he went around raiding and pillaging the locals, and amassed quite a fortune for himself. Although because of his notoriety and the wealth that he amassed, still no one kind of wanted to challenge him. He seemed to be an unbeatable foe, and also it's possible that he delved into some dark magics as well. It's claimed that through dark sorcery that he found a way to kind of renew his youth every 70 years or so. So I say he's from the 13th century, but he could date back much earlier, or he could go to live on much later. But well, until such point that nature kind of decided to step in, and that essentially Ippikin had his time, that it was time for him to throw off his mortal coil. So one night, while the band were out raiding, a heavy storm kind of rolled in, so violent that it forced them to go back to their cave where they called their home, their base, and they hid the storm and they would wait till morning till it had passed over. But as they were hiding out in their cave, a lightning bolt struck the cave entrance, and a giant boulder fell in front of the entrance and barricaded them in. With no escape, they all had to stay there until they starved or just perished from one means or another. And if you ever do fancy visiting Wenlock Edge, there is a giant boulder known as Ippikin's Rock that you can go and visit, but it's advisable not to go when the weather is stormy, when there is deep fog, because Ippikin's spirit does still roam the land, whether through his own malice or through the dark sorceries he performed on himself to keep himself young. His spirit lives on Wenlock Edge. But if you ever do find yourself on Wenlock Edge and the fog has rolled in, or the night is dark, or the weather is stormy, then whatever you do not issue the challenge to Ippikin, the rhyme that incites his anger. Ippikin, Ippikin, stay away with your long chin. For surely it is folly to incite the wrath of a centuries-old ghost who has dabbled in dark sorcery, and will surely take his vengeance upon any who insult him. Thank you for listening, and join us again next week for one of Kier's ghost stories. Probably something a bit more chilling to the bone, one would hope. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again.